Welcome back to episode whatever of the dumbest podcast on the internet. I'm one half of the dumb dicks that you listen to twice a week, every single week. The other guy didn't show up again. He's at work. It's me and Dumb Dick 2 that decided to put a shirt on that had sleeves and finally cut his hair off. So to be honest, his half is looking up. I couldn't want to be here any less this morning. So Kluver's in for an absolute uphill battle to try and get anything out of this episode. You guys are going to find out if he's worth half a shit as a podcast host or not. So go earn your money, kid.
It's not good. It's not good. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here. The Dumb Dicks podcast has of all the names that we've come up with or that you've come up with, that is a new one. And we could probably come up with a pretty great logo for that. First off, I want to thank Peter and Mark on the Patreon. Third tier, new walk-on army members, yearly subscription, which means those guys are going to be a part of the people who get the free merchandise item as we roll through the fall here. Thank you guys so much. Walk-on army. Drake, as much as you don't want to be here, and the last, so in the intro of the last podcast where you're like, well, you're going to have to get on there and go, welcome into the Washington Walk-Ons. This is what I got on there and I was honest with the people. And I said, hey, this is a mediocre podcast at best. And there's still people out there that listen to it and they responded and they said, hey, we don't care if it's the best podcast you put out or if it's the oil spill podcast. Someone actually said that. They're like, keep doing your thing because it's entertaining to us. And so, hey, man, it is what it is.
And typically, as my friends know, if you catch me in a so-so mood, you can usually get me to say things that are just absolutely bananas.
Yeah.
And here we are. The mics are hot.
You look like a fucking I'm not even sure, dude. Like an emu or
you started a sentence and you didn't know where the end of it was going?
Didn't know. It was just about your appearance. We had several people who watched the YouTube version, which is becoming slightly more popular, ask if you were either Joe Dirt or Theo Vaughn. And I think it's a combination.
I'm less funny than Theo and more scum than Joe. So you guys decide.
Dude, you're a whisker biscuit, dude. That's what you are. So for those listening, it's Sunday morning about 9 o'clock. Beautiful. Well, probably a beautiful day in Arizona like it is every day. I am wearing sleeves and I'm so happy that you acknowledged it because I was going to get on here. And one of the things was I'm wearing a t-shirt. And if Drake doesn't say something about me having my sleeves on today, I'm going to be pissed. And he said something. So you're a good friend, man. You're a good friend.
There's two things that made me happier than when I initially got on this podcast. Yeah. And it said I stopped having to look at your garbage hair. And that I finally got to stop looking at your muscles too.
Yeah, which neither are really that well. The hair is bad and the muscles aren't that great either. So yeah, man, I told you guys I was gonna go short and we're just gonna ease into it and eventually it's gonna just full on happen. And the t-shirt, he just so happened to get lucky today. So Drake started his morning off. So 9 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock out there in AZ, which means, in 30 minutes, it's a fucking warning. Don't go outside. Cook your steak on the cement hot already at 7:30 a.m. 3 hours ago, you started your day off by cooking yourself I don't even know how you say it.
Wagyu.
A Wagyu steak at
New York strip
at 4:30 in the morning.
I don't even know what time I was up. Somewhere in the 2 and change area. Rolled around in bed from 2 something to 3 something with the Rogan podcast on. Because usually when I wake up, I know I'm not going back to sleep. So I it is what it is. 2:30, 2:45. Rogan was on. I was rolling around listening to him, trying to get educated a little bit, trying to be less of a dumb swine. And then I was like, man, I have this really nice American Wagyu strip in the fridge, and I'm not gonna be here the rest of the day. And then I just don't want it to go bad. So I figured what's more nutritious than a good cut of beef in the morning.
Let's light it up.
Shout out to Snake River Farms.
Which I've heard is fantastic. And did you eat the whole thing already?
No, not even close. I ate it was like at least 16-ounce strip.
Oh, okay.
And I ate 4 to 6 ounces of it. It was
Okay.
unbelievable. I seared it to absolute perfection. And the crust on the outside mixed with the almost butter consistency on the inside made for a tremendous experience.
Yeah,
at 4:00 in the morning.
You got to be the only person that's cooking steak at 4 in the morning.
Especially to absolute perfection.
Well, it's good practice, because if you're hosting at Outlaw's Steakhouse and then all of a sudden the cook, goes haywire, we got to bring you in, and you got to be the guy early morning, late night. So, that's how Drake's morning started. And Kevin is at work today, or he isn't. And he loves his Sundays. And so when he doesn't want a podcast, he'll just not respond. And as he listens to this episode back, either tomorrow or this week sometime, he's laughing currently at us both, because he knows that this is what he's doing. He just lets us text back and forth in the triple text message, and he just doesn't say anything and just waits until we determine, hey, we'll just podcast without him.
Today, I almost did the same thing because I was in such a shit mood, but then I just sat there and I was like, I can't fake it. Like, I don't have that. There's no way.
Yeah,
act like I didn't see it.
I mean, you told me. So hopefully, if all goes to plan, Kevin will be a part of the podcast this afternoon with John Wiz, who it's been much too long of a time to get him on the podcast. And if it's just me, Kevin, and him, it'll be the official 337 Benton Street podcast, which will be interesting.
It's not my fault, boys and girls. Kluver scheduled a podcast without consulting my schedule at all.
I did.
And I have a very long jiu-jitsu training session today that starts at 2 p.m. Central Time, noon here. And it typically goes quite long, and it sucks quite badly. And then I have over 30 minutes home, and that's that.
I was going to say, it's the drive really that messes with you, because it's, in Phoenix, everything's a half hour plus away.
I mean, if you got to get somewhere good, if you're on the outskirts, so if you got your real estate good, you're going to drive.
Yeah. Which is fine. It's fine. It's cool. It's all good. So sorry. So I guess apologies are in order for that, because Drake won't be a part of that. Which is maybe good, because John's a wholesome guy, and we don't need Drake. We don't need Drake to infiltrate.
And those 3 guys lived together under the same roof for a lot of years.
It'd
be cool to just. I don't belong in that podcast anyways. I'm an outsider there.
It'll be interesting. I'm excited to catch up with John. I think John has a really. John's got an interesting kind of story. He was similar to Ryan Boyle or even John Wagner, all those kids that have come out of Dowling Catholic. Which, is just an absolute. I mean, Dowling Catholic is the. They're like the Celtics of. When did the Celtics win like 10 championships in a row?
In the 60s, when they had
like.
How am I blanking on his name?
Just
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell.
I wanted to say Bill Walton, and I was like, that's a white guy. I know
he wasn't winning championships. Yeah, Dowling. I think Ankeny finally upended them last year because of 2 of the recruits that are now playing for the Hawks. one of which was a transplant from Kansas because of the COVID bullshit. And there's some more COVID bullshit that we're going to get to in a second. I don't even know if you're aware of this, Drake. You probably aren't.
You're about to hit me with it, man. I'm about to get
Oh,
triggered.
people are absolutely livid.
Oh boy.
And it has to do with the NCAA baseball championships. And like El Prez, he's been on it and all this stuff. We'll get to that in a second. But John came out of West Des Moines, and not only did I live with John in college, and was he part of the tight end group for that entire time. He spent his entire 5 years, rode out the entire time, didn't get a lot of playing time except for on special teams, was a high star. I think he was a 4-star recruit coming out of high school, had offers to Stanford, Iowa, Wisconsin. I mean, he was highly recruited. And then I think it's super interesting to talk to those guys and hear about their time in college, because and it's not to highlight that they didn't become Hawkinson or Fant, right? It's because there's this other side of you were highly recruited out of high school, and then you had a great college career. I think John will probably end up telling us like he loved his time at Iowa. He made incredible friends. But it's just interesting to see, like, theres guys that don't end up getting the playing time that they're maybe expected to out of high school, and how they deal with that mentally, what that did for them. Uh, shaping them into who they are today. I think John's like going into like missionary school now, or like he's doing something with religion. He's always been he's crazy that we got him on a Sunday too. I was like, I don't know if we're going to be able to get John on the Lord's Day. I don't know if that's going to work out, but we got him. So it'll be interesting. Also happening today that we have nothing to be a part of, but some of you may have participated in it post us talking about this, is the Rally for Reed camp. And that's got Josie and Gervasay and Ben Neiman and Werfs and Nate Stanley. I think there's a ton of guys that are out there doing that today. When Gervaso's on, they raised 50 grand. I think they probably upped that by the time that the camp rolled around today. And that shit's really cool. Gervas's wedding. This is another development. Gervas's wedding is on Saturday. And are we actually going to get Drake Kulik to leave the sun and the beautiful Arizona heat to come back and socialize with other people that aren't people in a jiu-jitsu gym?
You'll find out if you see my eyes.
It's gonna be so that's gonna be a shit show. Congratulations to Bo Bauer is in order. And we haven't had him in the show for a while, but he just proposed to his girlfriend last night. So this leaves you and Kevin from the original, the Benton 6. I guess if you consider John the 7. You guys are the last, the few, the proud, the single. Single. I mean, you guys both have girlfriends. How do you feel about that?
Good for Bo, man. It's not on my horizon anytime soon, but good for Bo.
Did you ever think that Bo would get married before Kevin?
Yeah, he talked about his wife all the time. That's all. Bo's obsessed with that shit.
I guess he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
He just had his
Bo wanted to be.
He was always talking about. Yeah, you're right.
Bo's dream would have been to have a wife while he was still in school, dude. That's all he talked about.
You're right. He's a lot like his dad, and his family is another legendary family. Today marks 69 days from the opener in Kinnick Stadium. 69 days. So it's a good podcast. It's
fitting.
And we're going to be playing Indiana 69 days. Today marks 4 days from when. Oh, no. Let's go into this first, because I want to get into that later and make that the meat. So COVID, evidently still a thing.
It's not. It's not.
Nope. Still is though. I'm going to pull up the Yahoo Sports article here. So I believe this is the semifinals, right? We're in the thick of it. There's 4 teams left. We're looking for a champion. And I think people were like, oh, let's get a reaction from Drake on this one because he loves to talk about the COVID shit. And I was like, I don't know if I'm not going to try and just get an inflammatory explosion from you, but your thoughts will be interesting. There will be no game between Vanderbilt and NC State on Saturday at the College World Series. The NC said just after 2 a.m. Saturday morning is when they declared this. 2 a.m. No contest due to COVID-19 protocols, and the Vanderbilt would advance to the championship series. Vanderbilt's 3-1 win over NC State was delayed by an hour on Friday after multiple NC State players were placed into COVID-19 protocol. NC State took the field with 13 players and had just 4 pitchers available. They just had 13 players available because the NCAA wouldn't let the players that tested positive for COVID play. The hilarious part about this is that they have an entire stadium full of 20,000 fans that the COVID protocol doesn't apply to. But the players who got COVID and are playing in the game in the same stadium were told that they couldn't play. Then they decided it was a no contest and just gave Vanderbilt the game to advance them to the championship. All the while, the fans could come and watch the game, sit next to each other, cough on each other, sip each other's beer, sweat on each other. They didn't have to wear masks. They didn't have to be vaccinated, nothing. So the whole thing is like, well, this is some interesting control by the NCAA that
So we've been talking about how stupid the NCAA is for a long time, right? Like from the beginning of this podcast, it's been fuck the NCAA.
yeah.
It will always be fuck the NCAA. I think that they are really just a conglomeration of the scummiest criminals on earth, really. When it comes down to it, I'd much rather hang out with a drug dealer than hang out with somebody who's whoring out college kids
I was just gonna
for
say
their own dollar.
yeah, I would potentially rather spend time with a murderer in prison.
Yeah, for 100%. I mean, these legislators and these decision makers and these CEOs, I guess not CEOs, but board sitting members of the NCAA are just criminal cuck scumbags.
Yeah.
So starting there, fuck the NCAA. I'm not surprised to hear that such a back ass word twisted organization would make a terrible decision like that. At the same time, it fits right in line with the decisions that the American people have been making in electing a president who is already cognitively dead and a vice president who is the worst option in the history of the United States and believes that her commanding officer is a racist piece of shit. So to be honest, this news fits right along with all the rest of the news that's been coming out of America for the last however long. I can't even say I'm surprised.
The worst part about this is so in baseball, softball, it's not just one game, right? They're playing series, so you have to win. I think it's double elimination, right? So, NC State was 2-0 going into this game that they like half played, got delayed, whatever. So they had already beat Vanderbilt once. They just had to win one more game. So regardless of them even losing that game that got all fucked and jumbled with, they would have played again. And all things that I saw were like they were rolling. NC State was like it was their games to lose. Like they were going to go to the championship probably. Over Vanderbilt, who's like I'm pretty sure the number 1 seed and has been like a power in baseball for a few years. So I mean they were completely fucked out of a championship run. And then right here it says how many NC State players were vaccinated. ESPN's broadcast of Friday's game noted multiple times that NC State was optimistic it could have more players available for a game on Saturday, though it was unclear how that would have been feasible under COVID-19 protocols. The coach was asked if he had encouraged his players to get vaccinated, and he refused to say if he had. I didn't say I couldn't talk about it. I said I wouldn't talk about it. But yeah, we talk about a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? But I've been coaching the game for a long time, and I think you can call it caretaker, babysitter, or the guy that parents drop off their young men and off and leave them in my care. They've raised them to be quality people that we recruit. Like, he just didn't want to talk about the vaccination. So
Yeah, I mean,
good.
good for it. It's not his decision to be made. He's a coach.
So good guy.
Yeah,
And my job is to teach them baseball, make sure they get an education and keep them on the right track forward. But I don't try to indoctrinate my kids with my values or my things that my opinion.
good man.
Obviously, we
Good
talk a lot about these things, but these are young men that can make their own decisions, and that's what they did. Holy shit! If that was just the thinking of everybody on Earth, I mean,
It'd be easy, wouldn't it?
and then maybe the most idiotic thing of the whole thing, they let 13 of those players play that, like, whatever, tracing, or these guys were the okay ones, these guys weren't.
Hilarious.
4 of the ones that they determined were vaccinated. None of it makes sense, dude. It's like a Rubik's cube inside of another Rubik's cube. It's just like, what the fuck are we doing, huh?
It's at the end of the day, it's overpaid idiots. It's overpaid Cheeto fingers.
Yeah.
That don't know shit about shit, making decisions that negatively impact the rest of people's lives.
I don't understand. The NCAA is the.
Imagine getting a chance to play in the national championship taken away from you because of a fake sickness.
It's not a fake sickness, but
I'll bet those kids on the team that were like deemed ineligible to play were probably feeling a little better than Michael Jordan was in flu game.
In the flu game, yeah. Yeah, no, it's a real thing, but in regards to the danger to those kids, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. And that is really shitty. I can't imagine us getting ready to play Michigan State in the Big Ten Championship or something like that, and then them going like, hey, there's this thing that is basically over, like the sickness. There's a bunch of people that got sick, but now the world's basically good. Everyone's allowed at the game. There's not going to be any masks. There's no protocol. But if any of you get it, who are, by the way, in the least category of being in danger for it, you can't play. And we also might just give Michigan State the automatic bid to the college football playoff. Like, that would be infuriating. Absolutely idiotic. And it just brings up the question, like, why did they still need the NCAA? I'm a little confused. Like, I don't quite understand. I guess I'm not maybe smart enough to figure that out or think about the obvious. But
people have talked about the conferences starting their own. It all has to do with funds,
yeah,
and TV deals and
right.
things like that. But the conferences have become powerful enough.
Yeah,
that, like, there is potential. I do think.
I think there is too, because the Big Ten Network, that has nothing to do with the NCAA. All right, I could be speaking out of my ass here, but in theory, like the Big Ten Network, the SEC Network, the ACC Network, the Big 12 all those networks are by themselves. Those are by the conferences. The NCAA is just
it's the governing body.
It's the governing body that holds, like, the monopoly on, hey, we hold the championship between these conferences. So if the conferences were all just kind of like, hey, fuck you, like, we're just gonna peace out real quick, and then, like, it would take a lot, because those universities would be scared. Obviously,
but watching all those assholes tank and watching their lives unfold would be it'd be better than porn.
Yeah, it would be the money. It's all about money at this point. And God, can you imagine someone who actually works for the NCAA, like an actual human? Like, so there's humans out there that get up every day and they go to, like, the NCAA offices and they work for them. And it's like, ooh, it's a bad look. Yeah, they work. I don't know. They fundraise, I guess, or something. I don't know. In 4 days, maybe the one good thing that the NCAA, I wouldn't even say, I'm not even giving credit to them, because they were forced into this by the athletes and the colleges. NIL is a thing. It's officially a thing. July 1st on Thursday, guys can make money off their name, image, likeness. 100%. And I think this is really interesting because it went a little faster than I thought it was going to go. And it was kind of forced into like the Supreme Court judge, Brett Kavanaugh, decided he basically came out and said this on the ruling that was like late last week. And he said, or this weekend, it was like the fact that the idea that amateurism comes from just the concept that we don't pay our kids because we don't pay the kids is the stupidest shit and would never fly in any other area or workplace or business anywhere. Like the standard, the precedent that you are an amateur and you're allowed to be a part of this because of one thing, and it's that we don't give you money or we don't allow you to make money. He said that precedent was basically the stupidest shit he's ever heard of. Like it makes no sense, and it would be like a legal offense in any other workplace. So the NCAA wasted like, I don't know, $70 million on lawyers to lose 9-0 on a decision, which
Amazing.
is incredible.
Absolutely amazing.
And so now name, image, likeness is fucking ready to roll. And of course, on the forefront, J-Bo already has a t-shirt website made up, and he's got thanks for the memes t-shirts already ready to go. $33.33, which I thought was, we've had some conversations about J-Bo here. Again, none of us have anything against J-Bo. I think that's kind of funny, the 3333. People, I find this fascinating, man. How would you have approached this as an athlete? I'm really curious because now all these guys all of a sudden have this ability to like, oh shit, like, okay, I can make money. Like I can make money. Like J-Bo is he's gonna make thousands of dollars this year selling those t-shirts or whatever else he comes out with. And it's fucking incredible, man. It's so amazing. Like, think about what T Good or oh god, just oh look at dude, Cream Pie is entering the chat. And I'm glad that Kevin sits down right at this point because I'm really curious to see how he would have handled this too. I don't know if he would have done anything with it. Kev, are you aware that NIL is it's full bore ahead in 4 days, July 1st?
Yeah.
How would you approach that if we were still on the team? Say we're like in junior year. It's like 2016. We're going into our junior season, and all of a sudden, NIL is a thing. How does Kevin Ward approach that, or does Kevin even
doesn't even make any difference in my life because nobody knows who Kevin Ward is in summer of 2016.
And that's I understand that too, but like, so you wouldn't have actively tried to do anything with it, like if anything came to you, if someone
if somebody came along and said, hey, take a picture and we'll give you $100, then I don't know, maybe. I don't know, but I wouldn't have actively pursued anything. I don't think.
It's so interesting to me, man. Did you see?
What did you guys say?
I literally just asked the question, and I'm just curious to like Drake's answer. You guys know that because of who I am, I would have been all over it, even as the long snapper, and I would have been made fun of by all of you.
Yes, you're the greediest bastard I've ever met in my life.
Absolutely. J-Bo has t-shirts. I don't know if you saw that, Kev. He came out with a website that is ready to go. He's ready to drop the link on July 1st, and it's just like thanks for the memes t-shirts from the Iowa State when he left the sneakers there.
Wait, so did Iowa pass an NIL bill?
So Iowa does.
The NCAA finally approved
the NCAA came out with their legislation officially because they had to by July 1st. I think was the ruling like several months ago. Like you have to have some sort of something for this, or else like you're going to get fined. I don't know. So they came out and they basically said, any states who have NIL, all athletes who are in the NCAA are allowed to follow their state's NIL rules and will not be, their eligibility for the NCAA won't be punished or anything like that. And any states who do not have any NIL rules must only follow the rules of like the state that are legal. So like I think basically what that was getting at is like you can't go to a strip club and like sell your body for money because you're a football player, like any other stuff like that. Otherwise,
now, to back up to your question, now that you put it out there, I might have considered something like it might have been my most profitable.
I could see Kevin Ward late night after the game at Summit, topless, no shirt, flashing the pecs, little baby oil, taking tips. Just, hey, number 26 is serving up mojitos, baby. Let's get it going. Drake's face on that was so funny, so scummed. I don't.
So basically, I think what that basically means, like, you're just like any other normal human being. So go make money how you want to make money.
Which, congrats to them for that. It's nice to be a normal.
Good.
Iowa also on Saturday, I want to say on Saturday, right before all this came out, announced that they have a program called Flight that they are.
I saw the Instagram post.
Yeah, they're working with an outside company to basically somebody that they've already been working with, I guess, for some other reason, but now they're also going to be doing NIL stuff where they're going to help the student athletes with education and whatever.
Is it just education, or is like helping them market themselves too?
I don't know if they're actually like agents as well.
Hey, I'm trying to do something. Can you help me out or put me in contact or whatever?
I don't know. It's going to be
because honestly, I mean, that might be the next recruiting battle.
How do you mean? Like, who has the best agents that can help them out?
Yeah, like, hey, this team's like got a program or whatever that helps their guys, maximize their profitability during college or whatever. Like, yeah, I would consider that.
All I know is that the Iowa boosters better not get cheap now or we're fucked. Because if the Iowa boosters' pockets get tight and they're not willing to fork out this advertising cash to these kids, we're not getting high recruits. Forget about it.
But we already don't. Like, do you think that?
Well, our recruiting classes have been looking up, pal.
They have been. I think.
Now just imagine if these places are allowed to legally give kids money for the easiest things in the world. They'll find ways to pay these kids like actual first-round draft picks. And we're absolutely not going to do it.
I don't.
But I don't care if you're the number one recruit going to Alabama. You're not getting that first-round draft pick signing bonus.
I'm not talking about a signing bonus of like $23 million for the first pick overall. But if you don't think that some of these kids are going to be making 7 figures a year off of advertisements and autograph signings and shit, that's crazy. I
think the only people making 7 figures a year would be like the Trevor Lawrences and Zion Williamson.
Proven. And this is where I'm with it, Kevin, is I see what you're saying, Drake, and I get that, right? You're some fat pocket big shot down in Alabama.
Just think about the Texas money, bro.
And
Texas is back.
Right. And I know that like it sounds so easy for some billionaire to just start forking over $1 million to this kid, $1 million to the other one. But those guys care about their money too. And like all of this is going to be on record as well. So like the reputation, like, oh, this guy's just giving money. I really think, yes, maybe they promise some recruits like, hey, we're going to give you $100,000 a year. We're going to give you $200,000 a year. But once they get to campus, the real serious, crazy money that you're talking about up in the millions of dollars, I don't think that even the richest boosters in the world aren't just going to be like, yeah, man, doesn't matter if you play well or not. We're just going to keep giving you $1 million a year. Like Kevin said, I think it's only going to be those guys who are proven and are like Heisman contenders who these boosters are going to legitimately be like, okay, yeah, we're willing to.
And it's not just, no, I mean, there's nobody out there making 7 figures just off boosters. It's not happening. It's people who are actually going to sign like endorsement deals. Right. Like the Zion Williamsons, Trevor Lawrences of the world.
Like
you're really telling me right now, you're telling me that Travis Etienne, I just picked a random good player's name. You don't think that Travis Etienne could have said, if I don't make $1 million for my senior year, I'm going to transfer out of Clemson. And you don't think that some Clemson diehard billionaire is going to pay him $1 million?
There's a potential for that. Now you're assuming a lot of things here.
I am assuming. I'm just saying, I'm just making up scenarios in which there are a lot of elite players that can find a lot of the under table money.
You're definitely you've opened the door to the room of possibility, right? Like that is now possible. I guess I see it in a way that I see the good in people too much. Because
there's greedy people that want their football to be good. Like the University of Texas is in a drought, dude.
And I understand the boosters want it, but here's the thing: you have to assume also that the kid is that greedy enough to put his
what is future? You mean $1 million a year that secures your future, pal? That's what you're going to school for.
He would be making dick if he didn't get that $1 million. Like he'd still be making money off other stuff.
I don't know.
All I'm saying is that Iowa has had a reputation of doing things the clean way, and
you're right.
Now this NIL thing makes it super easy for the dirty way to be done. And we just better not be cheap when other people are doing it dirty. That's all I'm saying.
It's not all on the boosters either, though. It's like, it's the companies around here. It's national brands too. Like
that's what I'm saying. That's where the big money is going to be at for those huge name players. Is like the national brands with like legitimate endorsement deals.
I will say this. It will be interesting if all of the sudden these schools like Texas or the SEC, who already has all these big time recruits, if you do start to see these deals done for kids that are like, like Texas has like the 4th best running back in the Big 12 or whatever, right? And the kid, just because it's Texas, is getting $2 million a year from all of these boosters who own these companies local to Austin, Texas or whatever. Then it's going to be interesting. It's going to be like, okay, at some point, I think the kids still care about it. I don't think it's all about money. I don't think it's all about money. Because now you can get money anywhere. Like you're going to get your money. Like Kevin said, it's not 2 million or 0. It's 2 million and go to Texas and a school that maybe you don't want to go to, or you stay home in Iowa and go to your school that you're a legacy at or whatever. I just look at kids like, God, I don't even know. Like,
I mean, you can look at it in the NFL too. I mean, there's guys that turn down bigger money just to stay where they're at because they like where they're at and stuff. So, I mean, not everybody everywhere is motivated solely by money.
Yeah, and that's what I think people are automatic.
These are broke kids. These aren't NFL athletes. These are kids who are finally able to get their opportunity, get their hands on money they've never had before.
You're also assuming every college athlete's a broke kid.
I mean, I came from a very well-off family and I still felt like a broke kid.
Here's a question.
And I'm telling you right now, I'd have took crooked money from anybody who was willing to give it to me because I would not have given a fuck. It would have been a big fuck you to the NCAA and to everybody who said you couldn't make money for over the past. I'd have tried to suck up every dollar I could just for everybody who couldn't in the past. So there's one well-off white kid that just told you how dirty he'd have done it.
And is anyone here surprised by that?
No, not a single listener or either of us are. I just think it's such a bad look if you're this $1 billion guy, and maybe they don't give a fuck, and that is yet to be seen. I just think it's such a look for these guys. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm a big booster for the University of Texas. We got this 5-star recruit. We promised him that he's going to get minimum $250,000 a year, and then he comes in and he's just trash. He doesn't do anything.
Honestly, transfer away. Nothing would make me fucking smile or laugh more than these billionaires or people with stupid money just throwing cash into a fire.
Right.
It just doesn't pay out.
Right. And then what?
Like if Texas is still horrible after this, I mean, it might just make my heart smile a little bit.
But you're assuming there's when they're signing their national letter of intent, they're also signing a 5-year guaranteed endorsement contract from the 9,000 car lot dealership, big cattle ranch, Honda, or Chevy,
right
down in Texas.
I mean, yeah, it's going to be like, at the end of the day, just like in the NFL, like advertisers don't want some trashy dude who rides the bench in the NFL.
Right.
That guy's not going to be making a whole lot of money off endorsements. It's going to be the guys who are popular, perform on the field and popular with the fan base.
Yeah. Which is why I thought that the boosters were going to have to fork over the cash to get the kids there, because once the kids there are there and performing, like you guys said, they can potentially get big national brands to sign them. But when they're 18 years old and they haven't proven anything yet, maybe those national brands aren't willing to fork over the money. Now they got to find their cash from other places, and they will find their cash from other places. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, but I completely understand what you're saying, but say, okay, this kid signs at, I don't know why we keep saying Texas. We're going to keep saying Texas.
Texas is a great example.
Is so notorious.
Yeah, and Texas is a great example.
And he goes a year there, doesn't see the field, and now the boosters aren't giving him what he wants. What booster from another school is going to be like, yeah, I'd pay that kid $250,000 to come here?
Oh yeah, your stock definitely drops. You got to, if you don't perform right away, you got to get less greedy.
And that's what I'm saying too, is like,
well, I mean, do you think that will happen? Like once you give a kid $250,000, I don't know. I think this is, I think we said it all along. I think this is good and horrible for college athletics at the same time.
Yep, I agree. It's good because it's just a human right to be able to make money.
Right.
Make money.
Exactly.
You should
completely un-American to tell a kid that you have no right to make money off your own
value.
It's going to be horrible to give some of these kids that kind of money at 18 years old. And I think it's going to really kind of cripple some of the values that you can learn in college football. And it can really fuck you up the rest of your life.
I agree. I agree with that because I do think that with anything, it would be naive to on Thursday when NIL goes live. I think it would be naive to be like, there's not going to be any issues here. Like every new indoctrination of a system, it's going to go through some bumps and some obstacles.
I'm excited to find out who the new richest college kid is in the country next Monday.
I think it's going to be, God, it is. Is there anything that's ever happened like this? Like something that is
no, this is groundbreaking. This is unheard of, dude.
It's so, I'm trying to think, like even in just society, like something that's a absolute human right should not be prevented from happening, but when you do let it happen, there's going to be some like severe growing pains through it. I can't think of it.
At the same time, now that I think about it, I don't know if you guys saw the Bustin' with the Boys podcast with Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
After he won the Heisman, he got paid $30,000 to sign autographs.
Right.
We're not I don't think we're going to actually be talking these stupid $250,000.
He got paid $30,000 by one guy to sign autographs multiple times. So every time,
the Heisman winner though.
Right. But this is at a time where you weren't allowed to do it. So guys were not taking full advantage of the price that they could get. Johnny Manziel was.
If anything, I would say that would make you want to jack up the price. Like if I'm taking this bigger risk, it better be a lot of money.
Sure, that's one way to look at it. From my perspective, it's just that Johnny Manziel's 19 years old. He just won the Heisman, and now people are offering him $30,000. He's not going to try and finesse the guy and be like, nah, I think $75,000 is going to be it. The guy could just tell him to kick rocks. I would just take my $30,000 and not say a damn word. I would have done it the same way, but I don't know. I see what you're saying, Kev.
Yeah.
I just look at guys like, even your brother, Kev, or John, who we're going to have on this afternoon. Like, your brother was a 4-star recruit, right?
Yeah. He was an Army All-American. Yep.
Yeah. Ryan and John were both 4-star recruits, which is a high at their time, they were both
4 more stars than I think we all had.
Which is
Coop,
way more
did you have
stars. I technically had stars, but they were like not real stars. And like Ryan, like where did Ryan have offers from?
All over the place.
All over the place. Like the entire Big Ten. Like, didn't he have offers from the Pac-12 too? And
honestly, I forget. He had a lot of the Big Ten, a couple of ACC. I think he had 1 or 2 SEC.
Yeah, and so and we were talking about John. He had offers from Iowa, Wisconsin, Stanford, Nebraska. Like, and then John
gone to Stanford.
Right. And then he comes to Iowa. Unfortunate circumstances, some injuries, the fact that George Kittle and Fant and Hawkinson are also in the program, and their careers explode, and John never really sees the field as a tight end and gets limited special teams time, becomes basically a no-name player, a contributor, but not a Josie Jewell, not a Desmond King. If some booster gives him money, gives John money to come to Iowa over Wisconsin, and then he pans out the way he does, that booster the next time around is going to be like, well, fuck, I kind of got burned on that cash. Like, I don't know how many times I'm willing to do this with these kids just puttering out like a fucking old, like 1970s car that's just shit in the bed. Like, I don't know if my money's worth it. I'm taking a chance on these kids, and it's like gambling, right? Like, even if they're a high star recruit. So does it happen in the beginning?
Like taking stocks, man. They might take off.
Rich guys love to gamble, dude.
They do like to gamble, but at some point,
it's also a gamble which you actually don't really see return on your investment. You're losing that money either way. It's just how much does you think winning is worth to you?
Yeah, it depends on how much that booster cares about his university going to Big Ten championships, and if he feels like the athletes that he paid for contributed
and if they're
to that.
already a booster, they probably care quite a bit about their university. Yeah. Like, I'm not a booster in Iowa, and I never will be, because Iowa and the whole university, aside from the University of Iowa football program, can kick rocks and get fucked. So I'll never donate a dime to that university. I ain't a booster.
The wrestling team might take exception to that.
I didn't mean it, I said what I said, but there are also a lot of other people that I do like on that campus.
You said what you said, but you're also Drake, and so what you say is a little diluted, and man, it's interesting. I think maybe it goes through a few years of like a bunch of kids maybe making money, and then the market kind of realizing, okay, this is market value. What boosters are going to be looking at what other schools are paying their kids. These rich guys are going to be on fucking Epstein's Island trying to figure out how much money they should pay the recruits for their schools versus the other guys. Either way, it's still that, like, it's like a human right. Like, they're at least allowed the right now. And so,
yeah,
it will be.
I don't know, like, how much this would even peripherate down to from the top guys, the big names. Like, in our playing days, how many of the guys in the locker room would actually be making like
a shitload of money?
That's not just like a couple grand a year,
Yeah, I mean, I think in our class, I mean, you're looking at like Desmond and Josie would have made enough to like can be considered a yearly salary for sure.
That's kind of my point.
But dude, that like what, 40, 50 grand? Like, who else? I don't even know. I know Drake, after he snapped his fucking leg, dude, you could have been on some commercials for some PT or some, you could have had some sick ortho commercials around Iowa City.
And then I could have been part of the drug rehab commercials after that.
So stupid.
The opioid epidemic in America
has been rebirthed through Iowa City and Drake's NIL rights. Yeah, man. I think that every kid has an opportunity to go do something. Like, I don't know. I would have found a way to make money, like not real money, but I think in my final couple years, as
you'd have found a way to make some cheese curd money.
So
you would have gone to the manager of Culver's and said,
dude,
What would you give me for anything? Like I'll
dude, I would have walked into the back door of Culver's and just said, hey, if you guys pay me $30 a week and give me free hot fudge sundaes, I'll do commercials for you all day long. I don't care. $30 and a hot fudge sundae, dude, and a cheese curd every other week, man. Just fork it over, bro. Yeah, I would have found. I think that as a long snapper in year 3, 2016, and then 2017, I think that I could have sold myself enough to where I could have made like $5,000 a year. I think I could have made $5,000 or, maybe more than that, but not 25,000, not 50,000 or 100 G's, but I think I could have done it. And I think Drake, you could have too. And Kevin, I don't know about you because you don't care enough to actually like pursue it outside of.
No, I don't see myself ever having really pursued it that much. If people like approach me, and I'm always willing to have a conversation about stuff like that, but I don't really see it as being something that I'm actively pursuing in my college days.
Yeah. But I mean, Caitlin Clark's going to make a fuck ton of money this year, boys. Spencer Lee, dude, is about to make all the money.
Hopefully he makes it all, because like the time that he's put into his sport, he has become a true master.
Especially like those wrestlers. I think it could be huge for the wrestling program too.
Yeah. The whole wrestling team.
No one in the nation loves their wrestling program, with maybe exception to Penn State, like the Iowa Hawkeye fan base. That the wrestlers at Iowa are going to have the ability to make more money than any other wrestlers, except for maybe Penn State, in the whole country.
There's going to be companies, especially with a wrestling team. Like how many? There's 10 weight classes, right? 10 starters. Mm-hmm. So that's 10 people. There's going to be companies if there isn't anybody who owns a goddamn company near Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, or the east side of Iowa, you should be listening right now. You should be contacting the Iowa wrestling team to get those 10 guys to do a sick ass promo for your company. And the whole rest, like they're going to come to the team and say, hey, we want to do this promo. We're going to give each guy, everybody's going to get, $1,000. Spencer, you get 10. And the whole team's going to be like, sign us up, baby. Sign us up. Tell us where to roll into and we'll do the commercial. I mean, the football team, it wouldn't happen like that because there's 100 guys. No one's going to come to the team and say, hey, we'd like to do something with the entire team. But the wrestling team, that could definitely happen. Or like the starting 5 on the basketball squad. Like there's going to be opportunities for those guys. Low money, right? Hey, we'll give each guy $500, $1,000. Caitlin Clark's going to make a shitload.
Here's a question for you guys. Say you're a head coach, or say you're Kirk Ferentz. How do you address this?
Right.
And how do you communicate to the team? Like, we encourage you, yes, to
build your brand, but not be a distraction.
Build your brand and market yourself. And like, we're not going to try to hold you back. But at the same time, it's like our priorities can't change.
You have to now convince them. You're going to have to convince 18-year-old kids that their education and time spent on literature class is more important than time spent finding ways to get cash in their pocket today. Like you're actually going to have to convince kids of that to market their time where they have lifting, practice, meetings, etc. all the time, all of the 20 Kara hours that they have.
About how much free time you had during the season. It's like dick.
None.
It's none. It's none.
And now you're going to have to convince the kids that their schoolwork is the actual priority.
And I think you're right. And I think what it actually is like, and it's kind of, Coach Ferentz will also say this when it came to like individual awards, like Big Ten awards or national awards, is like, they usually pick those guys who are on good teams. So winning's the most important part. It's going to be like that too. It's like, hey, you want to sign some of these big deals. You want to make some money. First, you got to be on a successful team. Second, you gotta play well on the field.
I agree with that. I think
let me check this right here though. How you guys know already that there are some dudes in the locker room that took part of their scholarship check and paid for their classes anyways. There are kids on campus who already pay for their papers and their tests, et cetera, et cetera.
I could name a few.
Now just imagine how much there's going to be a whole new cheating economy that comes up in these schools, because every nerd is going to be willing to take the marketing money off the football star to take tests. Who cares? That's no stress off them. All they got to do is write another paper. They got that money in their pocket. These kids literally are not going to have to do any of their own work, because the nerds are going to do their schoolwork for them. And now they're professional athletes at 18.
Yeah. The Jimmy chemistry in fucking Gen Chem 2 is going to know, like,
he's going to have so many clickers.
He's going to be like, hey, T Good, I saw that you just did that $25K deal with Shields. And I know we got that test coming up. And boy, wouldn't it be juicy if you could just hand over 4%?
Okay, well, I mean, I know that the papers thing is.
Or I know we got a big paper coming.
I don't know how the hell you're gonna take tests for people. That'd be fucking impressive. How you can manage to do that.
A lot of people.
All you got to do, Blake Gimbel came into a test with us and took a test. All you have to do is have one nerd off campus.
Do you not remember when you turn in the test, you have to show them your student ID too at the same time?
Not every time, man. Those
big classes you do.
Yeah.
You're right though, Drake. We know several people who paid, 25, 50, 75 bucks here.
All you have to do is have somebody in the class sitting a row down, and you've already paid him. He takes your test and just passes it back to you. And that's that. Like, there's easy ways to do it. All I'm saying is that there's going to be a whole lot less educated athletes out there.
If I'm mentoring any young 18 to 23-year-old men out there listening to this podcast, the risk ain't worth the reward. You're going to get your ass in some fucking trouble. You get caught.
But I guarantee you there's going to be some cheating.
There are.
Remember, dude, North Carolina got busted a few years back for that scandal. Like, they were taking basket weaving and they weren't even going to their own damn classes. It's fucking basket weaving. They had some fucking bullshit majors that was just for athletes, and they were still cheating at that. And NCAA banned them for a couple years.
This isn't for those listening who are now sitting there like, oh fuck, is this going to change everything now that it's actually real? Because we're just talking about the extremes. This isn't a new problem that we're talking about. This is just what's going to happen to a problem.
It's what happens to the whole situation when more money gets influenced.
Right. And
more money, more problems.
I still think that, Kevin, what you said wins out. I truly do. And maybe this is just my optimism, and Drake will slide the other way on this. But I think that you're right. The biggest deals, the most endorsements, the most money for an Instagram post, the most money for a commercial, whatever, it's going to come to those who are playing the best and are on the best teams in the end.
Here's all I'm going to say. My last argument to any of this, and then I'll shut up, is that you, Kluver, know how money hungry you were as a college kid. Right there. Kluver, you know you were obsessed with money. You've always been obsessed with money.
I wasn't.
That's untrue.
What? Give me an example of how I was obsessed with money. I liked
money. Money has always been a topic of conversation with you. Always. It has always been a lead topic of conversation, which means it's always been ahead of the importance in your life. It has to be. Otherwise, it wouldn't be such a topic of conversation.
I think maybe I get where you're coming from, and
your desire for money has always, just like everybody's, right?
I think that you're coming at it. You're playing it up. I was very frugal in college. Yes. What money I did have, once I was on scholarship, the money that I got on those checks, I saved every little bit of it. But it's not because I'm so obsessed with money. It was because I knew the kind of head start I could get and what it would do for my life. But I was never, if I was money hungry, I would have had a job in the summer like Bo and Josie did. I didn't do shit like that. I wasn't.
But
I get what you're saying though.
Okay. So regardless of how you would classify it, but you come from a family who takes care of themselves. Your family's fine. Your mom and dad are two individuals who take care of themselves, right?
More so than a lot of families, yes.
Okay. And same with me. And I'm admitting right here that given the opportunity, I would have taken time and focus away from things that I did put it on to getting the money, right?
I understand that.
And that's coming from two people who don't have the pressure to support their own families.
You're right.
There's a whole lot of college athletes out there that feel the pressure to support their families.
But here's the other part of that though, Drake, is once you're going to see the other side start to slide, you're going to start to see, okay, I've got enough money for now. And I could name a couple athletes on this one. You're like, okay, I signed with this school. They're giving me $50K up front. They're guaranteeing this car deal once I get on campus. I'm the new freshman. I'm the big man on campus now. Okay, freshman year, I played a little bit. I'm getting a few deals. You start to get too worried about that money, and now your play starts to slip and you lose your spot on the depth chart and you're no longer a face of the program. All of a sudden the money starts to disappear. Like it's a balance. It's a balance there. Like now all of a sudden you can't support your family because you've let your greed for trying to make all these deals take advantage or take priority in your life. And now all of a sudden, like you're out doing car commercials and you haven't been putting in the reps in the summer with your position group and you're the third on the depth chart.
Yeah, but I was talking about school, not football. I was saying that football and money were the priorities, and school is now completely out the window.
Well, now you fail a class and you're not eligible. Not going to be very marketable anymore. Like your priority, it's gonna end up balancing itself out. Now, yes, in the beginning, are there going to be some kids who think, "Oh, babe, I can name 3 off the top of my head right now that we played with. I got 100 G's. I'm good. I'm set. I'm good. Let's get this bread." You know? And then all of a sudden they fail a class. They're not even fucking eligible for the next semester. No one even knows who they are. They're kicked off the team. And hey, how marketable are you now? Like if you're a young adult at 18, 19 years old, you're going to have to realize that they affect each other. It doesn't just go one way. And
what do you think this is going to do to the transfer market? Because
it's going to be huge for the transfer market. I think because those are the proven players.
It's going to exacerbate the problem because you don't make money, you ain't starting. It's like,
yeah,
I can't work here, sit the bench for 2 years. I want to go make money somewhere else. So
I think the transfer, now this is where Drake's argument comes in heavy. I think with freshmen, for me, it's going to be that unproven kind of thing as a booster. Maybe they give some money, but they're gambling. But later on, if you can get a sophomore or a junior who's coming from UNI or South Dakota State and he's balling out, he's already on draft boards and he's going to go transfer for his senior season to try and play in the Big Ten. Ooh, that boy going to have some money on the table from all of the boosters because he's proven now. They know he can play.
I can see it being, for that example, yes. For the guy who's transferring for depth chart reasons, like you're not getting enough playing time or whatever.
No, for them.
I see it being the opposite because those old fucks. I mean, I probably put myself in that category. Hate people who transfer for that reason.
Yeah. But for the ones who are coming from a smaller school to go and live out a dream that they had when they were under recruited.
Which I can always appreciate that, trying to up your level of competition.
And honestly, like, dude, I'm okay with that. Fuck it. It's free market, man. Go pay for your transfer. I mean,
or just imagine you're in spring ball of call it spring ball, and your left tackle blows out his ACL in spring ball, and you get the opportunity to go offer Tristan Wirfs after he's going to be an All-American. And I was giving him a scholarship check, but
some money. But here's the other thing that you have to assume too is that this kid just doesn't give a fuck about his unit. Like Tristan, he's a good kid.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay. I'm just giving you the example that some team loses their left tackle and now they go buy Iowa's left tackle who's been bred and groomed to.
I don't see that.
The kid, I think that the kids are wholehearted more than that. I think you're gonna find, that kid's gonna now.
I'm just spitballing here, boys.
I know, but on the other side of your spitballing, I'm saying this kid's now going into his senior year or junior year, whatever. He's almost done with his career. He's already been a Hawkeye for 3-4 years. He's already got relationships with his teammates, his coaches, the city. If he's doing deals, now he's doing he's made himself a life in this one ecosphere. And
I mean, like at the end of the day,
Mike, Kevin, Mike.
And now he has to put out there, hey, I'm transferring to Alabama for my senior season when I had everything was going just fine. And then he knows that money deal is it's reported. Everything's reported now because it's legal. So it's now going to come out that, oh, Alabama paid him $1 million to come be their left tackle for the last year. That kid has to basically give up his dignity and his everything.
Just imagine this. If one of you y'all were like a superstar, like one of our, like Josie was a star. Yeah, so say Josie just walked up and left his senior season. I would be so fucking scummed with him. I don't think we'd be friends anymore.
Yeah, and that is one, like I just said, that's one of the things that kid now has to consider.
Like, can you just imagine walking away from your best friends like that?
I don't think some kids may do it. Some kids maybe Drake would do it, right?
No.
See, and you're saying that you're one of the scummy ones, and you wouldn't even do that.
I'm scummy, and I'm taking all the money that I can from anybody who's willing to give it to me within the Iowa football ecosystem.
Yeah.
And I'll take every dime just because, sure, if you're willing to give it, I'm willing to take it, but I'm not going elsewhere.
See, and I don't think a lot of kids will either once they're stuck and they've planted.
Yeah, but I'm an Iowa kid that walked onto the team and paid his way to play fullback, dude. I paid the university money for a worthless education and to hit my head a lot. That's what I did. Okay. That's how dedicated I was to the University of Iowa. So
I think other kids will have a lot of dedication too. I think it would take a severe amount of money. And I just don't think the money, I don't think it'll be there. But the fact that there's a possibility, it's going to make for some very interesting articles and stories on all these players. I'm
all for them making money. I'm just here to let you know what's about to happen.
There's some
I'm the devil's advocate, and I think I'm coming up with real scenarios.
And I think your scenarios are real, and everything you've said will happen on like 1 or 2 kids will go that route. But I don't think it's going to be rampant. Like there's 10 kids on every team that are just exacerbating these problems, right?
If you think that the under on kids that are going to pay other people to do all of their schooling for them, I think you're crazy. I'll take the over on 10 every day.
Across the entire country? Absolutely.
No. On each team.
On each team? I don't know.
All that takes is one class. All that takes is a guy that doesn't want to write any of his literature papers or any of the book reports.
But what's it at already? You know, like what is it, you know?
That exactly. You're now helping my argument.
I'm saying that it's not like we're going from 0 to 100. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we're going from like 80 to 100 or 60 to 100. You know, it's like
I like that.
So here's what the other thing I thought about with this. And this is going to be something that provides a ton of great content for the podcast because the three of us all have our ideas on it. And when it starts to play out where these kids, like we get to actually talk about these deals and just, you know, spitball on the dumb shit.
I can't wait to see one of these guys get an actual huge check.
Yeah, it's going to be
first
insane.
Iowa guy that gets a huge check. I'm going to throw a party for him.
I think, and I'd like to talk about this on an extended podcast when we have more time, because I think what Kevin brought up with KF managing that and the coaching staffs, you know, because now Iowa, especially like, hey, they want to make their guys feel at home. Everything that happened last year in 2020, you don't want to limit them. You don't want to stop them from being themselves. Like that's a huge thing now. And part of that is going to be, well, hey man, I need to go get some deals done. How does KF and the boys handle that? But
luckily, KF is one of the wisest men that I've ever met or that may have ever walked this earth, and somebody who is very capable of putting together policies that are probably much fairer than what the three of us can spitball. I have faith in KF to do a better job than most.
Yeah. I mean,
there's coaches like Lane Kiffin who I think are going to fucking botch this horribly, but I think a guy like KF can keep his troops in line much better than most.
If Lane Kiffin botches it or some of these big time programs botch it, I think there's still in some way a potential for their programs to start sucking ass too.
It's possible. I mean, Drake just said it, you know, how do you get you guys to buy in to what the program's about give them the freedom to do what they want and feel good, because guys that feel good and are happy are going to play better. But at the same time, keep everyone in line, marching the same beat.
Yeah, the culture.
Buying into the culture. How do you do all that? The team that can have the culture that does all those things, which is going to be extremely hard to do with 18 to 23-year-old kids, is going to benefit the most. There's going to be those programs out there that let their kids run wild, and it's going to have a horribly negative consequence.
I think you could see a team like USC or UCLA who are down there in LA. Like, I think they could suck total ass because there's so many opportunities to be an influencer and a fucking, the big time guy on campus, all the Instagram, all the deals, all the whatever.
But that does also just the landscape in general. The amount of money that's available in LA is higher than the amount of money that's in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, even though Alabama is wildly successful. Like, nobody can match Hollywood Hills money. So
those fucking liberals don't care about,
which could be true, which could absolutely be true. But there are also extremely rich people who do care about the colleges there. And there's like the amount of marketing potential in LA is just way higher than Tuscaloosa. So.
And it's really going to end up being a question over time of does the amount of money available that's in the environment, in the ecosystem, directly correlate with on-field and team performance? And I just don't think it will. I think in some ways it inversely correlates. Like it's going to be interesting. And you're right. Maybe more than ever, the thing that makes the most difference here is, do you have a coach and a staff in place who's able to manage this and do it the right way?
And it's also going to come back down to, can you get the right guys from the right families with the right mindsets in the building, which is so hard to do with 30-minute phone calls every other month.
Yeah.
16 to 18-year-olds.
I agree.
How well can you pick them? Which is what it's always been.
Yep. And to finish this podcast, because there's going to be clearly be a lot more conversation on this topic going forward. Who do the Washed Up Walk-Ons sponsor first as a walk-on on the Iowa football team? Who do we go after? We got to get some boys wearing our merch on fucking interviews after the game or something like that. Like, come on.
So it's got to be a walk-on.
It's got to be fucking Shooter. We got to give Shooter.
I'm either going Shooter. No, I'm gonna pick Kerner.
I knew you were picking Kerner. I'm picking Shooter.
Dude, both of them.
Give me old Monty Potabom.
I talked to Kerner on Wednesday. He was at that golf outing thing. He still got our signs up and our Christmas tree.
Go.
I know. Dude. I was so proud of the dude.
But dead ass. Like, we're now in the space, right? Like, we got a little bit of money that's built up from let's grow the brand.
It's gone down. RIP to Bitcoin.
Well, once Bitcoin comes back, we're going to be sponsoring every walk-on the team. But like, dude, what if we create a couple T-shirts that are exclusive and we give Shooter
if we were like massive like Rogan, yes, I would offer to pay all the walk-ons.
I'm saying on a little level,
Iowa,
like
the University of Iowa gets a guaranteed contract to
wouldn't that be incredible? We give the walk-ons money and they're just like, dude, this is fucking sick. So hey, here's the new pitch. So now, since NIL is now a thing, every listener out there that wants our team to be great and have the best walk-ons who now want to come to Iowa because it's the best. Everybody out there, subscribe to Patreon, because now that Patreon contributes to a walk-on contract sponsorship by the Washed Up Walk-Ons, where Shooter's going to be wearing fucking Washed Up Walk-Ons branded cleats or something like that.
I got one for you. Okay. We make an exclusive Iowa fullback T-shirt that is
give it to Potty.
CTE City, Iowa. And at the place where Iowa City is on the map of Iowa, it's just two people colliding and a big explosion happening above them.
And we get Monty to wear that out and just pay him we have the money to pay Monty or Palisard or Kerner or Shooter. Like, we could pay them $200-$400. Like, we could give them some money to wear our shit. Like, I'm serious. This is a real thing now.
Hey man, if you want to give Monty Potabom a CTE City shirt and give him a couple $100 and say, hey man, tell everybody that you love the Washed Up.
Wear this to media.
I'm in.
Dude,
I'm in. I'm in.
There's a lot of opportunities out there, boys. That's all I'm saying. So this turned into, especially with Kevin joining the podcast, I think this turned into way more than Drake thought it was going to be of an episode. And I might just cut the first part and just intro with Kevin coming in, because this was a hell of a conversation. And
just cut out our stupidity.
Yeah, and just because this was a great conversation. Episode 227 of the Wash Up Walk-Ons. Hopefully we've
cut the stupidity at the beginning and put it at the end for bonus content.
Yeah, that might be what I do. That's it. We'll be back again on Thursday, hopefully with a nice little John Wisniewski episode, the 337 podcast, if Kevin makes it this afternoon. Ooh, let's go. That's a six,
Kevin.
336.
He just turned his fingers around. He went 3-3, and I think that makes 7. CTE City, boys.
336 was the house across the street that we watched have cops outside for like 3 hours one night.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. Peace out, boys.